Absolutely. What we're really now seeing is that both of them, having posed as the victim for so long, are really the aggressors. And what I really thought at the end of it as well was this, which I think is a very, very pertinent point.
What if Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's fairy tale romance was actually a carefully orchestrated drama designed for the public's consumption? Tom Bower's latest revelations have shaken the royal world to its core, exposing the cracks in their carefully crafted image. From Meghan's calculated moves to Harry's desperate fall from grace, Bower is pulling back the curtain, revealing secrets that were never meant to be exposed. But hold on, this isn't just about celebrity gossip. The story Bower is telling is far darker, more twisted, and filled with the kind of drama that could change everything we thought we knew about Meghan, Harry, and their relationship with the royal family.
There was always talk of reconciliation. Charles and William and Kate go one side, Harry and Meghan the other side, smiling and all the rest of it.
Stick around to the end, because this isn't your typical royal scandal. What's coming next will leave you questioning everything. Buckle up, because the fall of Meghan and Harry is not just a headline. It's a full-blown collapse, and it's all coming to light, piece by piece. The downfall of Meghan and Harry didn't start with the media's scrutiny or the public's perception. It started with them and their bold, calculated decision to turn their backs on the royal family. Tom Bower argues that Meghan Markle has been playing a long game, one in which she knew exactly what buttons to push to manipulate the royal spotlight. But what does this mean for Harry? The once golden prince is now spiraling into obscurity, facing public humiliation and professional isolation.
But at that time, William didn't know that Harry and Meghan had already recorded their poison for Netflix. It was already edited. All the stuff that we heard today about Charles lying, about William screaming and shouting, was in the can, was being edited.
Harry's solo appearance at King Charles's coronation became a defining moment. A moment that many would call a royal snub. The press saw it as a humbling reality check. Not only did he sit in the third row behind minor royals, but there was no balcony wave, no acknowledgement from the king or even his brother. It was a sharp, cold reminder of what happens when you turn your back on everything that made you relevant. What followed was a harsh realization for Harry. He had been left out in the cold, and his future in the royal family was no longer certain.
And they duplicitously did not reveal what they were going to do. Now, Harry's got form on that, because he did exactly the same at Prince Philip's funeral, when he recorded that whole thing about how his father was responsible for his mental breakdown. And he stood in the St. George's Chapel, knowing that he'd done his family down in the Apple broadcast, the armchair broadcast.
But here's the twist. Meghan's absence during this pivotal moment wasn't a coincidence. Could it be that Meghan wanted this? That she knew the time had come to pull back the curtain and reveal Harry's unravelling? Stay tuned, because this story only gets more interesting from here.
As Meghan, but it's worse, because she's an actress. She's got no stake in this country. But Harry, a former army officer, betraying the army, his country, his family, his father, dumping on the king, the future king too, and also on his grandmother.
Tom Bower, the best-selling investigative journalist who's no stranger to royal controversy, doesn't mince words when it comes to Meghan and Harry. He has been one of the first to challenge their narrative, pointing out inconsistencies, contradictions, and what he calls a complete breakdown of public trust. For years, Meghan and Harry presented themselves as victims of an oppressive royal institution, using their high-profile departure as a platform for social justice. But what if it was all part of a bigger play? A calculated move designed to boost their personal brand and media presence?
To undermine everything that we stand for. He's gone out of his way to undermine the family, the institution, everything. And I think Diana, well, I know, we all know, Diana would be shocked that we're sitting here today discussing her son as an outright liar.
Bower isn't just guessing, he's done the research. And what he's uncovered paints a picture far more complex than what we've been led to believe. Meghan's efforts to distance herself from the royal family were not born out of a desire for privacy, as they so often claim. According to Bower, it was about control. control over the narrative, over the press, and over their own future. Meghan didn't just leave the royal family, she manipulated it, using her newfound freedom to create a global platform for herself and Harry.
As a man who conspired with Meghan in the 6 hours of perfidy, you know, for example, the whole description she does of the Portland hospital, the birth, that was completely fabricated. We all know the first interview was given to CBS.
But could this all be falling apart now? What happens when the public sees the truth? Keep watching to find out why Harry and Meghan's credibility is now in freefall, and how it all ties back to Meghan's strategic moves.
So, and also, you know, even it goes down to the lawyer saying that in that statement, when they have that long attack on the Mail, which is astonishing, that Meghan, we know she lied in her statement, that she says that she didn't cooperate with Omid Scobie, and she said that she didn't consult anyone when writing the letter to her father.
How has Harry handled the royal snub? Spoiler alert, not well. After his humiliating coronation appearance, things have only gotten worse for Harry. Bauer has painted a grim picture of Harry's downward spiral, from embarrassing public incidents to self-destructive behaviour. In fact, Harry's behaviour has been so erratic that it seems almost as if he's lost touch with reality. From the infamous Nazi costume scandal to a wild Vegas night out, Harry's once sterling reputation is now marred with controversy.
It's always they. They never name them, except they did name Jason Knauf, the man who in the end exposed Meghan's lies, and of course they're furious with him. So the whole series ends with that statement on the screen which says Knauf is the liar, not us.
Then there was the awkward birthday video. Was it meant to be heartfelt, or was it just a desperate attempt for attention? With strange lighting, awkward angles, and a weirdly placed bump on his forehead, the video made it seem like Harry was desperate for validation in the worst possible way. It was almost as if he was trying to convince the world, and himself, that he hadn't lost everything. But the video only made the situation worse, and it was clear that Harry was spiralling. But it doesn't end there. Rumours soon began to circulate about Harry wandering the streets of London, disoriented and knocking on doors. Was this the final breakdown of a prince who's lost everything? Stay tuned, because the most shocking part of this tale is still to come. Harry's public breakdown didn't stop with his birthday fiasco. Rumours surfaced about him roaming the streets of London late at night, disoriented and knocking on doors. This wasn't just a prince having a bad day. It was a prince in full-on crisis mode, and Meghan was nowhere to be found. This is where the story takes a darker turn. Where was Meghan while Harry was clearly unravelling? Tom Bauer suggests that Meghan knew exactly what was happening, but stayed silent, choosing instead to protect her own image and brand. Meghan's absence wasn't a fluke. It was a master stroke of self-preservation. She knew that aligning herself too closely with Harry's descent into chaos would only hurt her carefully constructed image. So she distanced herself. Meghan's actions weren't just about avoiding the fallout. They were about maintaining her personal narrative. She was building her empire, and Harry, unfortunately, was not part of that equation anymore. Is Meghan really just protecting herself, or is she playing a much larger game? Stay tuned, because the real truth behind her calculated distancing is about to come into focus. Tom Bauer believes that Meghan's influence over Harry isn't just limited to her behind-the-scenes manipulation. It's much more than that. Meghan has been the mastermind, pulling the strings on Harry's every move, while maintaining an image of innocence. Harry, on the other hand, is caught in a whirlwind of drama, desperately trying to maintain relevance in a world that has moved on from the Sussexes. Bauer's take is that Meghan has been pushing Harry to cling to royal perks, like security and titles, without fulfilling any of the responsibilities that come with them. The couple wanted the benefits of royalty without any of the obligations. It's the classic case of wanting the cake but eating it too. And the public isn't buying it anymore. As more and more revelations about their royal exit come to light, the cracks in their carefully crafted image are starting to show. Could this be the final straw? With everything unravelling in the public eye, Is it too late for Harry and Meghan to salvage their image? Stick with us to find out what's next in their troubled saga. Meghan Markle has always been known for her strategic PR moves. Every appearance, every post carefully calculated to keep her in the spotlight. But recently, those same PR stunts have begun to backfire. Take, for example, her recent outing to a Beyoncé concert. It was meant to be a glamorous night out with a superstar, but there was one major problem. They weren't even invited. It was clear to the public that Meghan was trying to inject herself into a world she no longer belonged to, using the celebrity circuit to distract from Harry's growing public issues. And then there's the issue of her public relationships with other stars. Meghan's carefully curated Instagram posts, which once seemed like a window into her glamorous life, now feel more like desperate attempts to maintain relevance. Fans and critics alike have started to notice that Meghan's star is dimming, and her attempts to regain A-list status are only making her look more out of touch. So, what happens when your PR machine stops working? Is Meghan's desperation to remain in the spotlight only accelerating her downfall? Let's dive into how the media is turning against the Sussexes, and how it could change everything. As Meghan and Harry's media empire begins to crumble, the public has begun to see through their carefully crafted personas. Social media has exploded with criticism of the couple's recent PR stunts, and the buzz surrounding their Netflix documentary has turned sour. What was supposed to be a story of empowerment and overcoming adversity now feels like a PR campaign gone wrong. Even once sympathetic platforms like Saturday Night Live have begun to poke fun at them, turning their once heroic status into a running joke. Can Harry and Meghan really turn this around? Or has their royal brand completely fallen apart? The answer might shock you. The fall of Meghan and Harry is unfolding right before our eyes. From their royal exit to their public drama, and now their failed PR attempts, everything is starting to unravel. Tom Bower's revelations only add fuel to the fire, exposing inconsistencies, lies, and the true motivations behind their every move. As their credibility continues to erode, one question remains. Can they salvage what's left of their brand, or is this the beginning of the end? What do you think about Meghan and Harry's unraveling narrative? Is it just bad PR, or is something deeper at play? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into the real story behind the Sussexes' fall from grace. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more juicy updates and insider revelations on the royal family.